Hello, hello. Sorry for if you had to hear all of that. I don't know if we are live. I'll just quickly check. I'm using this new OBS system. Give me 1 minute. Yes, it's on. All right. Hello, guys. I am Varun. I am director, producer, writer, media and cultural studies graduate. On my daily lives, I talk about news and relevant information that matters to young people across the world, especially Indians. Make me your daily news brief and stay informed on meaningful matters to me. Okay, subscribe also and put ads, put the notification buttons on as well. All right, today we are going to do learn about three important things. Number one, the thing that we're going to read today is 1 second. Where is the chat article? Yeah. First of all, we're going to read about the counterintuitive economics of smoking. First article that we're going to read today is going to be counterintuitive economics of smoking. So, what is that all about? $100 invested in a tech heavy NASDAQ index at the beginning of January 2024 would now be worth 154. If you had bought American tobacco companies, you would have made an even bigger return, pocketing $165. The share price boom in part reflects a strange economic phenomena. In recent years, wait 1 second. Hello. Wait. Okay. This is a new one, so it's a little iffy. Okay. All right. Let's just read the next article for now. The sun rises for everyone, Chhat Puja and a song of a people. So in this article, guys, we're going to learn all about Chhat. We're going to learn what Chhat is. When I was growing up, I grew up in Gujarat. So I had no clue what Chhat was because I had never heard of that festival. Not many people in where I grew up were from Bihar. So I never heard about Chhat. But then later on, when I came to Mumbai, again, like Mumbai, mein, there are a lot of Bihari people who go back to Bihar during Chhat. So there I met some people. In Delhi now there are so many people in our organization have gone back home for this festival. So it's a huge festival in Bihar. And a lot of people like me who are from West or even up north in Kashmir, if you're watching from there, if you're watching from Delhi, or not Delhi, if you're watching from down south, so you might not know how big a festival that is. So today we're going to learn about why is it so big and why all Biharis go back home to celebrate this festival, almost like a lot of people go back on Diwali to celebrate with their all of their people. So we're going to read about that. This is an article for The Wire by Ashutosh Kumar Thakur. All right. पहले पहिल छठी मैया व्रत त्योहार. First and foremost, O छठी मैया, this fast is yours. केलवा के पात पर उग है सूरज देव. O sun god, rise upon the banana leaf. These lines by Sharda Sinha still arrive before the dawn does. The smell of incense, the rustle of sugarcane, the trembling reflection of the first rays on river water, everything begins with her voice. For millions across Bihar, eastern UP, the Nepali Terai, and the diaspora scattered from Madhubani to Manhattan, Chhat is not just a festival, it is homecoming in sound, in scent, in sun. Wow, so it's not just celebrated in Bihar, eastern UP, maybe it is celebrated. The Nepal with jo Bihar se laga hua hai, I think that's what the writer is talking about, Nepali Terai. And the diaspora, like Bihari diaspora is everywhere, right? From Madhubani to Manhattan, it is homecoming in sound, in scent, and in sun. The river remembers. The writer says, I come from the borderland Madhubani district, where Bihar leans gently into Nepal. Here, rivers are less boundaries than bridges. The Kamla, the Kosi, the Balan, all of them know our songs, and when Chhat arrives, they transform into temples. In the first pink of dawn, women draped in vibrant saris, heads covered heads covered, step barefoot into the cold water, balancing bamboo baskets, pathia and soup, bamboo baskets laden with fruits, thakua, and lighted diyas. The air smells of wet clay and jaggery. Men stand behind them silently, sometimes humming along to the faint melody rising from someone's radio. Sona Satkuniya ho Dina Nath, Ghume Chha Sansar. O Lord of the poor, O golden Satkuniya, you traverse the whole world. It is devotion distilled in it is devotion distilled to its purest form, without idols, without priests, without walls. Only water, sunlight, and the human body bowed in gratitude. Chhat is perhaps India's most ecological festival, where the worship of nature is the worship of life itself. Oh wow, so there are no idols and there are no priests who are conducting pujas and there are no walls. Everybody is in the river. Only water, which is available to everyone, sunlight, and the human body bowed in gratitude. And it is also India's most ecological festival. So we'll find out if there is any sort of like pollution that happens during this festival, and what does the author mean when she says or he says okay, India's most ecological festival, right? It's also a worship of nature. So you're worshipping nature, water, sunlight. So it's also like nature worship, which is very very interesting. A faith older than religion. Long before the temples of brick and marble rose, this ritual existed. Archaeologists trace elements of Chhat back to the Vedic period, to hymns of Surya worship, and to Chhati Maiya, Shashti, the mother goddess associated with fertility and prosperity. Okay, Chhati Maiya is associated with fertility and prosperity. In the agrarian landscape of Mithila, where survival depends on the cycle of sun and the rhythm of water, this worship became not just spiritual but ecological necessity. So, agrarian societies, I'm assuming. So, what are the two most important things to an agrarian society? Plenty sun and rhythm of water. Like, where is the water flowing? Is it flowing too fast? Is it flowing too slow? Is it flowing through dry? Too dry? Is it flowing too much? So, those two things people depend on, and to deify them, to make them spiritual, it was an ecological necessity. The rituals, bathing in rivers, preparing offerings from seasonal produce, fasting for purity, are also acts of conservation and renewal. Right, bathing in river, like bathing is like you are, bathing, like cleaning yourself off of something, like it could be your sins, it could be anything. Preparing offerings from seasonal produce, prasad, I'm assuming thekwa is made from that. Fasting, okay, everybody fasts. Now we'll also see if women fast or like men fast or like how is it. We'll see if this article answers those questions. Are also acts of conservation and renewal. No plastics, no waste, no extravagance, just earth, grain, and gratitude. Right? There's no plastic involved. There is no waste. There is no big murtis being made. It says just earth, grain, and gratitude. When the city dwellers talk of sustainability, the women on these ghats smile quietly. They have practiced it for centuries without naming it so. Wow. Sustainability. Isn't this sustainable? Without talking about sustainability, they have the most sustainable festival of all time, which is celebrated by a population which is so big and which, has such, which features less on socio-economic indicators. So, they just do it, and they have been doing it for centuries. So that's quite sustainable. Memory and the making of belonging. For those of us who grew up in the villages of northern Bihar, Chhat was less an event and more a season. The preparations began weeks ahead: cleaning courtyards, polishing brass utensils, drying grains, shaping earthen lamps. Sounds a lot like Diwali. Evenings filled with rehearsals of songs, the scent of jaggery syrup, and the nervous chatter of children awaiting prasad. कि प्रसाद मिलेगा कोई भी पूजा के बाद. For me also it was always like what's in the prasad, and I used to love shira. Shira is my favorite prasad. It's just, and when it's made very nicely, I love it a lot. So yeah, the idea छठ का भी ऐसा ही है, एक सीज़न है, सफाइयाँ होती हैं, यूटेंसिल्स को पॉलिश किया जाता है, ग्रेन्स को ड्राई किया जाता है, दिए बनाए जाते हैं, लैम्प्स बनाए जाते हैं. My earliest memory is of my grandmother's trembling hands lighting a diya by the pond, her reflection merging with the sun's fading glow. The women around her sang in unison, voices rising and falling like the ripples in water. Even as a child, I sensed something sacred in that silence. Wow. Very nice writing, first of all. And secondly, that for me also that was religion. My dadu used to wake up the first in the joint family that I lived in, and he used to wake up at 4 a.m. and he used to do his detailed puja, after which my mom and dadi used to wake up and they used to do their puja. So if you are up at 4, then you can see what he used to do. And so this author also says here that उसका first memory यही है, उसकी grandmother दिया जला रही है एक pond के आसपास, and people are singing songs. It's so nice. Like it's very calming also, this whole the feeling. Every Chhat since then has been a return to that moment, the balance of devotion and endurance, the human body negotiating with nature. From Mithila to the metropolis. अब सिटी में कैसे आया? मिथिला में तो सेलिब्रेट होता था, तब सिटी में कैसे सेलिब्रेट होता है? बट छठ refuses to stay confined to rivers. It travels folded into train journeys, wrapped in steel trunks, packed with thekwa and memory. Train journey is also like deeply associated with Chhat. The whole of Bihar uh, travels back from wherever they are working, from Delhi, from Gujarat, from Mumbai, from down south, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Every Bihari goes back, right? So it says it travels. Chhat travels, folded into train journeys, wrapped in steel trunks, packed with thekwa and memory. Wherever the people of Bihar and Purvanchal go, Chhat follows. In Delhi, the Yamuna banks transform into temporary ghats every year. Migrants from Darbhanga, Siwan, Sasaram, Bhabua, Gopalganj, Gorakhpur, and Deoria gather at dawn, their feet dipped in polluted. Sorry. I have a call, but I started this live, so I'll just continue this live. In Delhi, the Yamuna banks transform into temporary ghats every year. Migrants from Darbhanga, Siwan, Sasaram, Bhabua, Gopalganj, Gorakhpur, and Deoria gather at dawn, their feet dipped in polluted yet sacred water, their eyes fixed eastward. The air, thick with smog, glows briefly in their faith's orange hue. Wow. Like, it's Yamuna, yaar. It's just feel very sad for that river. It's very, very sad to look at it. But so many people still have to celebrate the festivals or dip their feet in polluted water if they cannot take a bath. In Kolkata, the ghats along the Hooghly resound with Bhojpuri songs. In Mumbai's suburbs, Chembur, Borivali, Dadar, the chawls and open grounds are decked with banana trees and sugarcane. Like I'm assuming those two things used to grow, and usse hi prasad bhi banega, banana trees and sugarcane. In Surat, Chennai, and Coimbatore, communities hire municipal tanks. They hire municipal tanks, fill them with clean water, and recreate home. Even in tech-heavy Bangalore, I have seen ponds near Bellandur and Yelahanka lined with diyas as migrant workers, engineers, and teachers gather in silence before sunrise. And you have to do it before sunrise. Wow. The craze for Chhat among domestic migrants is not just about faith, it is about belonging. The Vrat becomes a bridge between lost roots and new soil. For a few hours, city boundaries blur, the Yamuna becomes the Ganga, a rainwater tank becomes the Kamla River, and memory becomes geography. The global ghat. Now, what happens outside India? So, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, and like deeply, like I've still not, like I've understood, okay, you are worshipping Chhati Maiya and you are worshipping the sun god. And you do that by bathing in water and praying to the sun. And making offerings. Now, what happens globally? And then there is the diaspora, the new custodians of nostalgia, from Madhubani to Manhattan, Patna to Perth, Darbhanga to Dubai, Muzaffarpur to Mauritius. The rituals replay across time zones. In Edison, New Jersey, Bihari families gather near lakes, carrying offerings flown in from India. In London and Toronto, local parks become makeshift ghats. In Doha and Abu Dhabi, where open water is scarce, devotees perform arghya in steel tubs or swimming pools, singing along to YouTube streams of Sharda Sinha. Who is Sharda Sinha and how is she so popular? And she is the voice of Chhat. Sharda Sinha is voice of Chhat. We'll have to listen to this. I'll link some songs by Sharda Sinha after the live. So if you want to listen to them, you can listen to them. This is more than devotion, it's cultural survival. For second generation migrants who may never have seen the Kamla or the Ganga, Chhat is a portal to their parents' stories. The festival binds them to a land they left behind but still call their own. There is a quiet beauty in that persistence, the suns rising simultaneously over Bihar and over Brooklyn, worshipped by the same people, divided by oceans but united by memory. The social soul of Chhat. Now, what is the social part of it? Let's see. And then they will also come to politics. So, because I think every festival is political in nature, like you believe it or not, there is some or the other politics involved. The social soul of Chhat. At its heart, Chhat is a festival, but its impact spreads across society. In villages, the entire community participate. Okay, at its heart, it's a women's festival. It's like Navratri is a women's festival, Durga Puja is a women's festival. So, like that, Chhat is also a women's festival. But its impact spreads across society. In villages, the entire community participates. Men fetch bamboo, children gather mango leaves, neighbors share firewood. The Vrat itself demands immense physical and mental discipline. No water, no food for 36 hours. No anger, no complaint. Wow. Vrat fasting is across religions, no? Like withholding of food as devotion, as expression of devotion. Very interesting why, like why is withholding of food, like I think it's realizing the importance of something when you don't have it. I think that is what fast sort of teaches you also. But no water, no food for 36 hours, no anger, you cannot be angry and you cannot complain. That's interesting. That endurance becomes metaphorical. It represents the collective resilience of Bihar's people. A society often dismissed in stereotypes of migration, poverty, and politics finds in Chhat its most dignified mirror: silent, spiritual, self reliant. Wow, silent, spiritual, self reliant. My God, is not like Bihar, birthplace of Buddhism, deep rooted Hinduism in it also. It's, it's interesting. Silent bhi hai, matlab I know there are parts of Bihar which are like super silent and super spiritual. I intend to visit them as well. Even Muslim families who joyfully accept prasad and seek blessings for their loved ones join in the shared prayer. Chhat, in a way, is not just a ritual, it is a living experiment in social harmony, a celebration of collective belonging. The festival teaches patience, equality, and ecological balance, all without sermon. Wow. Politics of the sacred. But in India, where identity often turns political, Chhat too has become a symbol of power. In Delhi, parties compete to sponsor ghats, arrange artificial ponds, and print banners wishing happy Chhat in bold Hindi fonts. For a city where Bihari and Purabia migrants make up nearly 30% of the working class population, Bihari and Purabia migrants in Delhi are close to 30% of the working class people. That is very interesting. Chhat is political gold. A candidate's presence at a ghat can tilt municipal elections. That's true for all festivals. In Mumbai, where migrants from Bihar and Eastern UP, all major festivals. In Mumbai, where migrants from Bihar and Eastern UP form a significant vote bloc, local leaders know that ignoring Chhat can mean electoral backlash. Each year, the city's civic authorities scramble to provide clean water and safe enclosures for the ritual because the Purabia vote counts and Chhat is its loudest expression. Interesting. Chhat and the ecology of devotion. So when does a festival goes from just being Bihar's festival to becoming India's festival? Or is that thing even possible? Or should we even think like that? Okay, Bihar people celebrate Chhat in this way. We will celebrate our festivals or other festivals which are this Navratri in our way. So I don't know. Can festivals travel? As a kid, I used to be like, so Merry Christmas. There used to be Christmas celebrations in our schools. There used to be Diwali vacations in our school. But Chhat was not celebrated in Gujarat. So maybe when it becomes part of like public institutions, maybe then it can just travel. Or organically when Bihari migrant communities increase in a certain place, then it starts getting celebrated and then everybody celebrates. All right. What makes Chhat remarkable is its deep ecological consciousness. It celebrates water bodies, respects natural elements, and insists on cleanliness and simplicity. Yet urban Chhat has also exposed our environmental contradictions. polluted rivers, artificial tanks, plastic packaging all threaten to the purity of the ritual. Governments now clean rivers and ban plastic. Governments now clean rivers and ban plastic before the festival, but largely as a symbolic gesture, often more for optics than for rituals ecological needs. If Chhat is to survive as nature worship, we must let the rivers breathe again. The worshippers' instinct is already ecological, their offerings biodegradable, their rituals waterbound. What they need is a clean canvas, not one blackened by industrial waste. In many villages of North Bihar, local youth groups now volunteer to clean ponds before the festival. Amazing. I think that is what we should do. We should try to clean a section of Yamuna. In many villages of North Bihar, local youth groups now volunteer to clean ponds before the festival and replant trees afterward. Acquired grassroots environmentalism born from faith. Chhat, in that sense, could be the model for an Indian environmental ethic rooted not in law but in devotion, because devotion works better than law, right? In this country, at least. What the sun sees. Every year, as the sun sets on the first day of Arghya, a hush falls over the ghats. The air turns golden, water shivers under the light, and as the women fold their hands, eyes half closed, you can almost hear the collective murmur of generations. Gratitude for harvests. Okay, my harvest happened, thank you. For children, for endurance. I have watched it on both sides of the border, India and Nepal. The same sun, the same songs. Chhat transcends lines on the map. A festival belongs to a civilization that believes salvation lies not in temple but in rivers, not in noise but in silence. Wow. Even as urban India, that is also crazy. There are no loudspeakers at Chhat. A lot of festivals now have loudspeakers where you play late to the night. So there are no loudspeakers here. So there is silence also. That is very, very ecological festival. That claim is completely correct. Even as urban India modernizes, builds skyscrapers and metros, this ritual endures because in its simplicity lies the deepest truth. We are all what we revere. Okay, Sama Chakwa, songs of siblinghood and nature. Wow. Okay, very quickly we'll read this. No sooner does Chhat end than Mithila prepares for another festival, Sama Chakeva, the celebration of sibling love and sacrifice. Okay, as winter after Chhat, another festival is this, which is sibling love, Raksha Bandhan types. As winter begins to bite and migratory birds return to the plains, young girls gather to sculpt clay figurines of Sama and Chakeva, a sister and brother whose tales embodies loyalty beyond death. They decorate them with natural colors, place them in baskets lined with grass, and sing into the evening light. गाम के अधिकारी तोहे बड़का भैया हो, भैया हाथ 10 पखरी खुना दिया, चंपा फूल लगा दिया हो. O chief of the village, you are the elder brother. You gave your hand with 10 birds' feathers and adorned it with champa flowers. Okay. Once again, it is in Sharda Sinha's voice that gives the ritual its tune. In Mithila, the songs of Sama Chakeva are cultic, sounding through courtyards, evoking freshly harvested fields and renewing the emotional ecology of siblings. But the emotional ecology, why? But the festival is also a parable of environmental awareness. The clay birds are immersed only after days of play, symbolizing the cycle of migration, birth, and return. Children learn that skies, travelers, cranes, swans, herons are kin to. Together, Chhat and Sama Chakeva form the moral continuum of Mithila's culture, reverence for nature, gratitude for kinship, and resilience amid change. Wow. This is brilliant. We got to know so much about Chhat, and we are definitely going to listen to Sharda Sinha after this. And who knows, we should even go see and document Chhat. I'm sure there are many documents, but we should document it as an ecological festival inside the cleanest festival of India where millions come. Something like that. It is definitely a video that a lot of people will watch. That is something that we should do. All right, guys. I hope you are having a good time. I don't know even if you're here or not, because this is a new software and I cannot see how many people are here right now. All right, that's okay. That's completely fine. We now move on to the next one. The next article that we're going to read now is... One second. Oh, not this. Did I close it by mistake? It's lagging, guys. It's lagging. One second. Okay, let's read this. I think we'll read just two today because this was a long one and I did not even complete it, but we got the idea. The idea is to not read everything. The idea is to read something. Come on. Chalo. Huh. All right. What is going on? So sorry, guys. Let me see. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're going to read about Pajeet. So I read Pajeet whenever I read about Indians in terms of like when Americans are talking about Indians. So Americans use this word as a slur towards South Asian people. So he's a Pajeet. He's a Pajeet. Now what does Pajeet even mean? You know, it is derogatory. I know it's derogatory. It's offensive. You know, but what does it mean? And what is how is it amplifying anti-Indian hate? Bundi has strong opinions. All right. All right. All right, let's go. Okay. Let's see. As the camera zooms in on a map of, so there is a, let me set some context here. There has been a lot of hate against Indians recently on internet. It has also translated into the streets where several, incidences of attack are coming in from Ireland, from Australia, from the US, the UK. And what is triggering this anti-India hate or anti-South Asian hate? So, and it is prevalent so much, like in terms of the hygiene memes that people make on India, and that is being promoted on the internet. And so we're going to read about it, like what is happening and why this sort of ethnic slang or like derogatory or offensive behavior is being normalized, like what is going on. As the camera zooms in on a map of the Indian subcontinent, an AI-generated voiceover in David Attenborough's iconic tones says that India is a cursed land and quite possibly the most disgusting country on earth today. In this godforsaken land, the native Indian Hindu, more colloquially known as the Pajeet, breeds out of control like a plague of rats. Wow. It goes on to intone, often defecating in the open with no regard for its native habitat, the Pajeet spreads across the face of the earth like a cancerous tumor, consuming all in its path while the world watches in disgust and horror. India, the worst country on earth, was released around April 2024 on far-right message boards in the West. Wow. Styled as a nature documentary to maximize the dehumanization of Indians, it splices crowdsourced footage from far-right networks showing Indians run over by trains, corpses in the Ganga, and Indians raping animals. There is an obsession with open defecation. The film shows how far racism against Indians has evolved. But this prejudice is not just restricted to online spaces. Like I said, on September 11th, India Times posted a video from Poland showing a man accosting an Indian with his Polish girlfriend. The man mimics the voiceover from India, the worst country on earth. You are the world's most invasive species, Pajeet. The man tells the Polish woman, you are a white woman, what are you going to do? Mix your genetics up with the shit skinned? Wow. What's up, bro? What happened? Who hurt you? Much of this history centers on the slur Pajeet. Understanding its history and use shows how these white supremacist slurs have been internalized by South Asian communities, and whenever South Asian communities spread hatred against each other, it boomerangs spectacularly. The first known use of Pajeet dates back to a July 2015 post on the 4chan internet message board. While it's impossible to know what its coiner intended, a plausible theory is that it combines the Punjabi honorific of Paji and names ending in Jeet, common amongst Sikhs. By September, as reported by the US-based anti-hate coalition Stop AAPI Hate, Pajeet was the most common anti-Asian slur found by monitoring organization Moonshot in its study of online spaces that promote The slur chink ranked second and Paki was third. For racists who use Pajeet, Indian is largely equated with Hindu. Some elements of the term, especially references to cows, are distinctly Hindu coded. Yet those trafficking in this hate show little grasp of distinction between South Asian communities, just as in 1907 when mobs in Bellingham in the US state of Washington attacked Sikh laborers they called Hindus. Okay. Are Sikhs Hindus? Hinduism is a religion, Sikhism is a religion. Sikhism has spread out from Hinduism, but it is distinctly its own religion now, I think, in my opinion. The slur Pajeet targets Indians from all backgrounds, especially Sikh truck drivers. In recent years, trolls and bigoted networks in Pakistan have adopted the term, including influencers, such as in a clip of India, the worst country on earth, posted by Pakistani Army veteran Brig Ashfaq Hassan on X. On Facebook, Pajeet slurs circulate among South Asian groups, with Pakistani pages with 500,000 followers joining in. Okay, so they use it against us, against the Indians. The racist people there. While it's difficult to know how many of these accounts belong to organized networks, the racist memes often mirror broader online information warfare between India and Pakistan. Forums also show Hindus using Mujit or Muslim Pajeet to denigrate South Asian Muslims online. Wow. Everybody was, people were being racist to South Asians. South Asians started being racist to each other. Very, very great. Pakistan has recently become competitive, but so far Indians have been at the forefront of such online operations. Organized Hindutva networks have arguably led the world in spreading bigoted and false narratives. In both 2024-5, the World Economic Forum listed disinformation and misinformation as the most critical short risk worldwide, with India considered most at risk. These Hindutva networks have repeatedly trafficked in inflammatory rhetoric in both India and diaspora. Among the more shameful poisonings of global discourse was the distortion of the carnage in Gaza, reported widely, notably by fact-check organization Boom. Anti-Muslim bigotry harms Indians in the diaspora, regardless of faith. Nearly 20% of incidents that US-based Hindutva organization Hindu American Foundation tried to frame as anti-Hindu violence involved perpetrators mistaking Hindus for Muslims, as per a report in July. Okay. So a lot of slurs basically. This recalls the horrifying days after 9/11 when all South Asian communities, especially Sikhs, were targeted as Muslims. The more Hindutva networks spread anti-Muslim bigotry, for example, by demonizing New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani on the eve of election, the more they endanger themselves and place all South Asian communities in the path of the boomerang of hate. Consider also the slur Paki, weaponized against Pakistanis abroad, including by other South Asian communities. It was also used by British neo-Nazi Mark Collett to attack the UK's first Indian origin Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. Collett described Sunak as a little Paki rat illegally inserted into the position of Prime Minister. Others called Sunak a Pajeet. Wow, okay. This circulation of bigotry has offline consequences. Several Pajeet-related videos on Rumble, an alternative video platform rife with racist content, featured advertisements from the US Immigration Enforcement Body seeking to recruit viewers who enjoyed such material. Right. So there are basically a lot of bigotry and online trolling going on, and that is what this article discusses. Okay, one second. Okay, 1 second. Right. So finally it says that before fueling this cycle of bigotry, online trolls, Hindutva or Pakistani, should consider harms on their own communities. To the wannabe ICE agent or the xenophobic bigot, it matters little whether South Asians are Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan or Nepali. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, or Buddhist. To them, as the cartoon documented by the Center for the Study of Organized Hate in September shows, we are all the same. No, but I'm in Gujarat. I'm Caucasian. I'm a Punjabi Sikh. We are bros. Brahmin, Aryan, not Dravidian. No, no, sir. I'm Pakistani. We are not Poos. I'm Bangladesh, not Indian, sir. We're all the same. Wow. Okay. Okay. Right. Interesting. So I think we're going to do these two articles today. I hope you had fun. I will see you on the next live. Thank you so much for listening in. I was also testing how this streaming happens. So I have no idea if anybody is watching right now or if like one person is watching. So, but I thank you anyway for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.